reason again why I'm doing this live is because it's going to be a topic today that people have trouble with sometimes and that people have questions. So if you want to type in your question at any time on any topic, let me know, and we'll be able to talk about those basically. I want to cover support resistance areas today. What's up, FX Brazil? Nice, welcome. I want to cover support and resistance areas today. It's something that I've been using in my trading for the longest time I can remember, for a very long time. And this is pretty much the way I look at the market. So what's up, Brandon? This is pretty much the way I look at the market. Whenever I look at the chart, the first thing I'll do is I'll identify support and resistance areas. But just before that, I'll identify like the market phase that I call. But then after, it's going to be support resistance areas. And the problem though is that I've had some students that follow the academy and they've been in my course and everything, but they have a problem with these zones because they're kind of subjective. The most subjective aspect of my own trading right now is kind of identifying those zones. The thing is, with practice, you get to like find a way that works for you, and it gets to be more consistent over time. So you're able to identify the zones properly. But in the beginning, it can be a little bit tough. So what I want to do today is I want to go into some charts, and I want to show you guys how I look at those zones and kind of the tricky parts and the little aspect that we don't think about, we don't talk about sometimes. So we'll make sure to cover all of that. And one of the questions I got recently was about the fact that, like, how do you know when it's past a zone or when it's like too far from a zone? Okay, so we'll cover that. And I think I'm just gonna jump on the screen. I'll try to monitor the comment at times. So if you guys have any comment, just comment, and I'll do my best to go back to those comments. Actually, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this chat here out. Pop up chat. There we go. So I have the chat right here. Awesome. Okay, let's get going with that. Here's an example of chart, Euro AUD. And the reason why I'm taking this example is I have a trade open on this one. I think I shared a trade last week, or maybe I didn't. I'll try to do a video about that trade later on. But this is the perfect example of having a range and then trading off that range, trading in the resistance area. Okay. The thing is, first thing I want to start with is that whenever you look at your support and resistance zones, they cannot be used by themselves to trade. Okay, that's not going to be a strategy. That's going to be a tool, a very useful tool, but you need to combine other things if you want to make this powerful and if you want to make this applicable to the market. Okay, so the other thing is that those have to be identified on high time frame, because well, this is only for me, but what I believe in the market is that the zones on lower time frame, they're kind of meant to be broken more than the one on higher time frame. Okay, so a range on the 1 hour chart or like the 5-minute chart is not as effective as a range on the daily chart. So I will always start with the higher time frame to look at those zones. Okay, that's the very first step. Now, what I'll do, I think, is I'll open, I'll open a different chart, and that's gonna be like a random chart. Let's just go with AUD. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a different chart. So we have a clear chart. I want to like modify these ones. It doesn't really matter, but let's just go with that one. Okay. So let me clear everything. Oh, did the wrong button. I don't know if I can go back. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Oh, there you go. Just want to keep the indicators because they're pretty useful. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're here. So the first thing I'll do is I'll look at the zones on high time frame. I'll identify the zones. And what I found to be pretty useful to look at the zones was this kind of indicator, this small thing right here. You see, it's putting the highs and the lows. I found that like 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago about that thing. And I put this on my charts, pretty simple, because you see the highs, and it makes it easier for you to look at the zones. Okay? What you do is you always want to start with the high time frame. I'll look at the daily chart. But sometimes it's going to be too messy. So that's why you go in the higher time frame, the weekly chart, for example. And what we'll do is we'll start there for this one. Okay? And you're just going to try to find the spots where you have the same highs. Okay? And the second rule I'll add to that. So first of all, the higher time frame. Second rule is going to be we need to look at round numbers. Okay, not because round numbers are super powerful, they can be powerful, but just because it's simple for us. It's much more simple for me as a trader to know that that USD CAD right now is at 1.25. Okay, I don't think about what 0.25 like and all these numbers. I just look at the round number because I can remember more, and it's easier for me to think about it. Okay, and to note down these areas. So that's kind of my rule, personal favorite rule. So let's say I'm gonna identify a zone. I'll go back to the comment pretty soon. But let's say identify this zone. Okay, we have these 3 highs. That's gonna be my major zone. I've put the zone at 1.035. Okay, I can put this one as a like 1.04, 1.03. Doesn't really matter. Okay, because anyway, like these zones are not like those are not levels. Okay, they're not like lines. The lines are there only to help us, but they're not there to make us too restrictive. If we go past the line, it's totally fine. If we go a little bit, like if you don't reach exactly the line, that's fine. But when we have the round numbers like this, we know like 1.03, bam, this is a resistance. So we know when price is close to that we have to look at the chart. Okay. And the second thing the second thing I'll do is that since those are zones, okay, and this is where it really gets particular. I'm not gonna leave the line like this because this is for me too difficult. Because I never know if we're gonna reach the zone, if we're at the zone or past or too low. So it's kind of messy. It's kind of hard. What I'll do is I'll take a box. Okay, on this is TradingView, like the best platform I think. And I'll draw from the highest point, which is, well, let's just say this one. And I'll draw this box all the way here until like where we are now. So then I know like this is my zone. And the way I do it is I just look at the highest point on that that resistance area. Okay. So here it's not like the first one that we saw. Okay. Because the point is here. It's more like this one here. So I could even make this area bigger. Okay. Something like this. And there's no real rule as to like this one here, like the low of the range, but I'll just look at like the past bars. Okay, and I see that we've been reversing here, so maybe I'll extend this one a little bit to say here. Okay, because we've had these touches in the past. Okay, so that's gonna be my zone. Now this is kind of big, but it doesn't mean that we'll trade exactly when price goes to that zone. Okay, we'll wait a little bit because like we need to see some setups, and that's what I said. Those zones are not meant to be traded by themselves. They need to be traded with something else, with an indicator, with a full strategy. Okay, so I'll just take a look at the comment. And what's up, Amin? Cool. A couple of people watching. That's good. 11 people. I see this. Okay, this is going fine. So good. If you guys have any question about that topic or anything, just comment below. I know some people had big questions and a lot of questions, but we can cover those like for sure. That's pretty much the basic principle. Okay, there's nothing much to it. We can do an example, or we can just complete that example and see what else we have. Okay, so I'm on a weekly chart. That's quite big. Let's say I want to go on the daily chart because that's where I'll probably trade the most. Okay. Now we have this big zone right here, and it's gonna take a while until price goes back to the zone, and we can place a trade. Okay, that's gonna take maybe weeks, maybe months. I don't know. Okay, so we're not gonna wait till only that zone. Even though this is a big zone on the weekly chart, we need to trade something earlier than that. Otherwise, we're not gonna place any trade. Okay, so that's why we look at kind of intermediary zones, the zones between the zones. Okay, and the easy example is that we're gonna put the zone like here. Okay, this is gonna be our second zone. So, and this is 0.97. I'm just gonna round this up. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did before, which is I'm gonna take the box. I'm gonna look at like the past touches, and I'm gonna try to draw like since we had this high here, I'm trying to draw my box like something like this. Okay, and it doesn't have to be exactly precise. Like it's always gonna go a little bit beyond, a little bit below. It doesn't matter. But this is gonna be the zone. So as soon as we come back to this zone, I'm looking to trade. Okay, that's the zone where I want to trade possibly. and we've been here like recently, but this is a major zone of interest. We've had many touches in the past, and we're coming back to the zone. Okay. Now the other thing I'll do is that this pair here is especially choppy. Okay, we've been back and forth, and we have all these intermediary zones between those two levels. Okay, those are like the big ones, but within that we can still trade, especially if we go in lower time frame. Okay, I'm rarely gonna take trades on the daily chart now because these don't happen that often. Okay, with my personal strategy, with what I trade, but that's why I'm gonna trade lower time frame. But I'll look for a trade at these zones. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at like within a little bit. I see we have this point here. Why we came in the past, we bounce, we came, we bounce, we came, we bounce. Okay. And that's gonna be a cool intermediary zone. Okay, this one is at 90. Like either we're gonna put it at 99 or I would prefer to put it at 1. Okay. That's like the perfect round number. Okay. That's gonna be very easy to remember. Okay, at 1 we have a resistance area, which we might go to. Okay, in not so long. And I'll do the same thing I did before, which is taking the box, identifying the box. And here, like I know this, like we could draw the box all the way to here, but just for my visual preference, I'll not draw the full box. It's just too big, okay? And I just don't like it. So sometimes I'll make the box smaller, but I'll know that like if we go a little bit above and below, I know like we're still in the zone. Okay, it's not a big deal. But the point is just for myself because I don't want to have like all these big boxes in my chart. I want to keep it simple. So I'll know at this zone to look a little bit beyond. Okay. So that's the principle. Let's check the comment. No comment. That's good. So either you guys really understand well and everything is perfect, or you have no clue what I'm talking about, in which case I'll have to maybe go back. But yeah, I'll just wait your question. If you have any question about these zones, and then can go back to the screen. The main person who had many questions about that topic is not here today, so we'll see if we can we'll see. If you guys have any question about these topics, what I'll do is I'll do anyway a follow-up video. So tomorrow you guys will see kind of a follow-up to this with different. I think there'll be different mistakes that people make with those zones, so you can like better your understanding of those zones and ensure that you understand properly. But if you have any question, just comment. And let's see. What's a couple of your more consistently profitable setup? I only have one setup, James. I only have one major setup. And I prefer to focus on one because it's more reliable. Well, not more reliable. It's for me, it's simpler. Okay, it's much more easy to have only one setup. And I can become the master at that setup. Okay, so I only have one big setup. And I've did like many videos about that setup. So there's going to be like plenty on the channel. And it's always the same. Like for me, it's kind of boring to talk about it because Taro talked about it so many times. But the same thing we had. I'll show you. I have a trade open on UAD. I'm looking for the Bollinger Band. Well, basically, this is the zone I've identified. Put the Bollinger Band on my chart. This is the main thing I'm looking for. I'm looking for a break of the Bollinger Band with a strong price action signal, like a reversal signal. Okay, so we have this strong break plus the engulfing candle. Reversal signal. I will enter below the low. Few pip below, like here. Stop loss at above the high. And reward to risk to be 3 to 1. So I don't know, like I'm bad at calculating, but 3 to 1 is like here. I take some partial profit at 1 to 1, which is here. Or so, like approximately. I took some no, it's below that. Like here. Okay. And I'll just leave the trade open. Okay, and I've said that in many videos, but the reason why I take partial profit is that we never know how far the market will go. The market could just go back here to the middle band and like reverse. Okay, that's very possible. And it happens on many trades. That's why I take partial profit. And I've discovered over time that I'm more comfortable with it. And that's the basic reason. Okay. So same setup and like it's the exact same setup everywhere. You had this other trade on USD SGD. Okay, the exact same thing, except this one is not on the daily chart. It's gonna be on the 1 hour chart, I believe. Okay. Yeah, there you go, 1 hour chart. So the exact same setup. Or no, this one was, yeah, that was forward chart. Sorry. Forward chart here. Yeah. Exact same setup. Okay. So it's always one setup because I believe in the power of like mastering one thing and focusing on one thing. But those can be traded on multiple time frame. So for me, trading only one time frame, and I've made the mistake in the past of trading only one time frame and like the daily charts only, and that was not producing enough setup. But trading multiple time frame, that makes more setup, and the reward to risk is bigger. Okay. So cool. Understand, that's good. Awesome. Yeah, cool. What about fake out or whipsaw? Yeah, there's gonna be there's gonna be fake outs for sure on that strategy, but you, well, you mean when there's a breakout, I guess. Yeah. Well, those, like, that's one of the reasons why, and I like the comment from that's one of the reasons why I only trade reversals. Okay, because I used to have a strategy for breakouts and a strategy for reversals, but you never, like, it's hard to decide which one to implement. And you might just have entered a breakout trade and suddenly turns back to a reversal trade. Okay, so it's kind of missing a little bit. So now I only have one strategy, which is one reversal strategy, which makes it more easy to know what to do, right? Because you only have one thing to do, it's only reversal. And if your setup is not there, well, forget it. Okay, that's totally fine. And of course, you're gonna have trades where like there's an example. I'm not sure if it's which pair, but yeah, cool. Still sharing. I took a trade last week. It's gonna be in my trading journal. I could open this up for you, but I don't remember which pair it was. Let's just see. It was a perfect example last week of a pair that, like, same thing happens. Just could put this in full screen so it's easier. So yeah, last week there was this trade on a pair that I don't remember, or 2 weeks ago, and basically the pair just like perfect setup at the resistance area, but it just went through, and that happens sometimes. Okay, you cannot do anything about it. That's just a fact. Here, the trade was this one here, short Euro AUD. Okay, that was actually, yeah, and this is interesting because I'll show you what happens with that. Euro AUD, 2 weeks ago I think, or last week. That was, so I've identified these zones, okay, on the daily chart, and one of the point was like right here. I think this is where I entered the trade. I've seen price coming back to the zone. I started to look for my setup, which I found. I think that was on forward chart. Yeah, I found it right here. Okay, this is the setup. So I've seen this engulfing candle. I entered below the low, stop loss above the high. You were to risk 3 to 1, and the lines are still there. That's funny, but that's the same principle. Okay, so this one we just went above, and looks like we went above a little bit more, but then we went back, and that's why you have to kind of stay open to your setup. If it still happened near the zone, well, you just stay open to it. Okay, it's still gonna, like, you still have to take those setups even if they happen a little bit later. And if we go see in the past, that's the thing. See, the zone now is kind of a little bit tight, but in the past, the highest point we've been to reverse was here. Okay, so technically all the way to here, we're still in the zone. And now, well, we're like right at the top, but we're still in the zone. Okay, so that's why it's like, for me, it's still valid. It's still a valid zone at this point. Okay, cool. I hope this is clear, but let me know if it's not clear. What would you say brought you to the point of being consistently profitable, and would help you the most, would you say? I've answered that before. I'll think about it, but yeah. That makes you feel a bit more positive. That's a strategy I've been practicing with. Good to know it's legitimate. Yeah, it's legitimate as long as you combine it. This is for Sammy. Yeah, legitimate as long as you combine it with like the zones. Okay, because this trading this by itself, like only the Bollinger Band reversal trade, and I've done the backtesting, like putting a script with very simple variables that are gonna define your Bollinger Band trades and everything. You might have a win rate of, I don't know, 20-30%. Okay, with the 1-to-1 or 1-to-1 reward to risk, or 2-to-1. Now that's not good enough. Okay. But if you combine this with zones, that's where you really get your edge. That's where you don't like it's not just a setup. It's like a confluent setup, a confluent trade. So that's why, yeah, you have to combine many things. Okay, makes sense. Cool. Do you scale in or out? Well, I scale out, as I said. I have this one take profit at 1 to 1, especially for multi time frame, because like the trades that you take on the 1 hour chart are not as reliable that the ones you take on the daily chart. Okay, the moves are not that big, so I always like to exit a little bit partially at 1 to 1, so that at least I cover my initial entry, and then the rest just stays open until 3 to 1, okay? Or 2 to 1 in your, like, depending on your case, depending on what you trade. Could be 2 to 1. I used to trade 2 to 1, but based on my recent backtesting of things that I've tried to like get more profit, 3 to 1 seems better. Okay, so that's why I'm switching to 2 to 1 now. And it didn't like it. I traded a long time at 2 to 1. So yeah, yeah, but I don't scale in though. Scaling in for me is too complicated. I like to put one entry and just leaving it there. So yeah, I don't want to be there and like watching and having to re-enter many times or putting multiple entries. But that's just my type. That's just my preference. Yeah, I want to go back to James' question. What would you say brought you to the point of being consistently profitable, and what helped you the most? I feel like I want to share a story. I don't know if I'm going to share a story, but what helped me the most was this aspect. And I'll just give you guys a small background of everything. I've been trading like at the beginning in 2015. That was for 2 years, and at this time I was unprofitable. Okay, and basically I was trying to learn like you do online with videos and everything on YouTube, and basically I didn't have anyone to talk about. Like I didn't know any trader at that time. Okay, the only thing, and for the past 2 years I didn't know any traders. The only thing I was doing is reading books, reading blog posts, reading articles, trying to search. Well, in many books. I have like tons of books here of trading, but that was not enough. That was only like keeping me stuck in the same cycle of trying to learn new things, trying to apply things, but I didn't really know like how it worked. And then there was this meetup. Well, I was actually traveling for study at that time, and I saw that there was this meetup here in Montreal of traders meeting up every month and kind of exchanging ideas, doing social. And I said, well, cool. I have to go like see that thing. Okay, like meeting on traders. And when I came back here this to Montreal to go to that event, I've learned like I'm telling you, this is like through. I've learned more in one evening meeting other traders than in 2 years of studying online and trying to read books and reading blog posts and reading articles and watching videos. So for me, the biggest thing that changed everything was to hang out with more traders, start to meet other traders and talking with them. Okay, surrounding myself with more traders, and I've done that since then with the podcast, with like in person here in Montreal. I see traders pretty much every week now, and that was the biggest part, the biggest thing that changed everything. Okay, so you could try to learn everything by yourself, or you could try to learn kind of online. But even though online is still good, but being around other people who have the same goals you have and who put the same action and maybe who are further than you are, okay, that's totally fine. I don't hang out with traders now who are beginners sometimes, but I hang out with traders who are more advanced. They've either like some people I hang out with, and that's scary. They trade like a couple of $1 million, okay, or they've been working for banks, and that's where you get the most value. That's where you learn the most. It's not by surrounding with people who struggle sometimes. It's by surrounding yourself with people who are at the higher level. Okay, so kind of outside the topic, but I hope this makes sense. And let me just go back here. Cool. Yeah, so that's what changed pretty much the whole thing for me. Hanging out with traders, and I see it's funny. I'm surprised at okay, it's fine. Well, guys, if you have any questions, just comment below. I'll have to go like pretty soon, but if you have any other question about this topic, like I like to talk about other topics too, but if we can like keep this to this support resistance topic, I will like it because there's gonna be a video for that topic. But if not, totally fine. And yeah, I think yeah, just comment below if you have any question. If you enjoyed and if you understand what we talk about today, just let me know as well. And I'll do if there's any topic you want me to talk about also, maybe let me know and I'll do a future video on that topic that we can cover that more in depth. By the way, we have an awesome workshop coming up tomorrow evening. Yeah, tomorrow evening, Eastern time, I think at 7 p.m. with Mandy Parafjani. She's a a trader, a coach, and a speaker to talk about trading psychology. I didn't put the link here. I think I'll put it after if you guys want to sign up, or just it's on the Facebook group too. But yeah, it's gonna be an awesome event. If you are on YouTube, also you can check it out. And I don't know how it works on YouTube, but you might have, because I've scheduled the event already. It's gonna be hosted on YouTube. You don't have to leave or anything. You don't have to go to another page or anything. So you should be able to see the event. And if you want to attend tomorrow, it's going to be it's totally free, and we're going to share some great insight on psychology. So look forward to it. There was one question here. I mean, what did you learn while meeting the traders? In a short way of answering that, it's going to be what you learn the most. It's not like how to trade. It's not the technical stuff, because this, like, you can learn anywhere. You can take a book. You can take a course. You can hire a coach. What you learn the most when you hang out with traders, and when you, well, not just traders, like pretty much on anything you want to accomplish in life, what you learn the most by surrounding yourself with similar people, it's kind of this mindset, the way of thinking. Okay, so I used to think for a long time that like my goal was to find winning trades. My goal was to find the trades that make money. Okay, and that if I was having too many losses in a row, I was somehow bad. But that's not the point. And this is something I learned over time by talking with more traders, that like whenever they have a loss, they don't care. It couldn't be like, it doesn't affect them at all. And that's the point. Those are things that you get over time. And the way of thinking, the way of reacting, are things that you cannot learn from a book sometimes. You have to see people in real life, or you have to talk with other people. Okay? So it's kind of more the mindset that you learn with that. But it's kind of generic a little bit, but that's the whole thing. And when you see that you change, you'll probably understand. And yeah, totally worth it. I've been trading for more than 4 years now, so I think almost 5. With Muffin, yeah, been trading for almost 5 years. Cool. So guys, I'll finish it here for today. It's been a short training with different topics, but I hope you guys liked it. If you liked the video, give it a like. That would be really appreciated. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another video on the same topic. Ciao.